This podcast is supported by Music Theater of Wenatchee, celebrating 64 years of bringing stories to life. From show-stopping musicals to powerful plays, the Music Theater of Wenatchee stage is where stories come alive. Now they are writing the next chapter, and you can help make it happen. Thanks to the McKee Matching Funds campaign, every dollar you give is doubled, up to $50,000, towards MTW's Riverside Annex expansion project. To support the next act of community theater in Wenatchee, visit annex.mtow.org and donate today.
Opening night club.
We're not opening a nightclub.
It's the opening night club. We can't wait to watch an opening night show, because on opening night we always go with our opening night club. Opening night club.
Welcome to the Opening Nightclub podcast. I am your host, Kevin McKee, and we are getting together every week to discuss and celebrate local theater in Central Washington. Today I have with me the Gadfly Theater playwright, actor, and man about town, Skyler Cuthill. Hello, Skyler.
Howdy, Kevin. How's it going?
It's going quite well. How are you doing after your big opening night?
Well, I am okay. I'm actually pretty tired. I'm doing my best. I'm holding it down, though, because we both went to the night market last night.
Yes, we did.
Yes, that was a big event. There were a ton of people there.
And it's been very successful. They've been doing this for quite a while now. This is probably the fourth one.
I went to the one last year in November.
Okay.
It was during a little night music, and I came down there between shows and went on a little adventure. Yeah, but it was a huge success. Like, they needed another block or so. There was a ton of people in that little space.
Yeah, they've been doing this in Wenatchee, and it's they call it the night market, and it is kind of a little street festival. They'll shut down a block of the Wenatchee Avenue, but this one is really focused on the arts.
Yes,
and it's something that although they are little booths and they're selling handcrafts and things, it's like the least corporate or...
Yeah, that's kind of the concept, right?
Yes.
A lot of like a handcraft type stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they had a lot of handcraft stuff, but then they also had a stage at the end. And so they had bands playing. And at least what I was hearing, it wasn't like all well-known covers. They weren't playing classic rock or anything like that.
Yeah. It was Buzz Brump, who is a local band, and it was my friend's band, Umami Dearest.
Yes.
Right? That's Rhea Foster's band. Domingo's also in there. And they play like twice a year. So when they play, you have to come out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You will not have another chance for a long time if you miss them. And they did great. The crowd really responded.
Yes.
You know.
And Seth was on there playing Woodwinds.
Yeah.
No, that band is kind of the superstar band. It's a collaboration.
The super group.
It is a super group here in town.
Yes.
So I was glad to see them. They're kind of amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of like cross-pollination between like the theater community, the performing arts community, and the night market. And the Radar Dames were there.
Yes,
they're running the Peep Show again.
That's right.
Yes. The Radar Dames are kind of parallel to us as like musical theater people, right? Because it is live performance, in front of an audience. It's just more erotic. Can you imagine something more erotic than musical theater? I can't. But other people think so. But yeah, they're a going group. They've been going for a long time.
Yes.
Right. And we know quite a few people in there. We know Matthew Pippin, Caleb Sims, Christina Cabral. An old classmate of mine, Cass Carter, is in there, right? And it's run by
Skyler Hansford.
Another evil Skyler.
It's a different Skyler. I hate that you keep calling every other Skyler evil Skyler.
There can only be one, Kevin.
Yeah.
I don't make the rules. But yeah, the Radar Dames are a going group. They're a burlesque troupe, and they have an event coming up at the PAC, October 18th.
That's right.
At the PAC. They are having the Creep Show Peep Show. So if that is your line, please look them up. October 18th. I'm sure it'll be a good time.
They've just been getting bigger with their shows. I think they've built an audience, and so I know they've generally been putting on a Halloween show and a New Year's show, and they sell out very quickly.
Yeah, I think they do pretty well.
So if you're interested, go ahead onto the PAC's website and buy tickets for that, because we do want to support them, and they've been doing some really interesting work for quite a while.
Yeah, and I think they have auditions semi-regularly, like once a year or so.
Yeah.
So if you would like to join them, I believe they're a pretty welcoming group.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
But yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so we were at the night market last night, and I was surprised at how many theater folk we ran into.
Yes, however, this was the first event we have attended in months at this point that did not have Rachel Powers involved.
That's true.
What was going on there, Rachel? There was an event that you weren't a part of.
I think
Answer for yourself.
I think we might have a podcast where we're not discussing something that Rachel Powers was in.
I don't know. It's leaving a hole in my heart, but it has happened.
We'll try to get her on the podcast here sometime soon.
That's how we'll compensate for it.
Compensate for it. Yeah. So okay. So night market was last night, but on Thursday night was your show.
Yes, the world's second performance of Humans: A Brief Primer.
And this is a show that you wrote and acted in and really had the largest line load.
Yeah, it's not a one-man show, but it has one-man elements.
It's one man and hecklers.
Yes, they are literally Heckler 1 and Heckler 2.
And it was a lot of fun. It was up at Bushel and B. And you had a full house, and TJ Farrell was there, and she had brought out dealy bobbers.
Yes,
Is that what you call them?
That's what she calls them, dealy boppers. No, the beautiful TJ Farrell rendered a huge favor to the show. The concept is that it's an alien seminar. It's like a symposium about Earth culture, right? The concept is that we used to have a writers group in Leavenworth, and I always wrote stories about Ablacababla, which is an alien empire composed entirely of really aggressive and shitty salesmen. I always got a kick out of that. And so that's it. That's Ablacababla. The Ablacabablans have run out of ideas. Their brains are being sucked out of their heads by repetition. You know, there's nothing new cracking or whatever in Ablacababla. And they have found Earth where nobody has had a new idea in decades, and they all seem to be fine. So they're checking this place out to see what the secret is.
Yes.
To consuming garbage forever.
And the Ablacabablicans are basically bipedal humanoids.
They look a lot like us.
Except they have 5 eyes, apparently.
With TJ's help, they have 5 eyes. TJ rendered huge aid to the group. I think it got people into it a lot more. Having the lanyards with the alien names on them and the dealy boppers, I think it really helped people get into the concept.
Well, and the weird thing was we were at the Bushel and B, which didn't close down. It wasn't like this was a closed event. Mm-hmm. So there were people coming by to get mead and beer, and they would walk in, and everybody's wearing eyeballs on their heads with name badges, and there was a bit of fear and concern as they would try to get in and order their cider.
Yeah, I actually have a story about that, which is that at intermission, so we finished, and there were 2 pretty good-looking ladies in line, getting drinks from the bartender. And I was like, oh, hello, ladies. So I sidled right on up there. And then as I got close to them, they were talking to the bartender, and I listened in, right? And they were like, when does the alien thing finish? We'll come back, but when is it over? And I was like, son of a bitch. Well,
you were all high off your confidence.
Yeah, I was like, hello, ladies. Playwright Skyler Cuthill
That's right.
here.
This is
they were
my
like, oh,
show.
We hate this. You can't please them all. I'll write something about Taylor Swift or something. I'll get them next time.
Because that a grown man doing theater with alien dealy bobbers on his head, that is a chick magnet.
That makes them really go. When they see the lanyard on you that says Rethok Zeeblzorp, the ladies really hook into that. They're like, oh, who's this guy? Wow.
Hello there, Rethok.
Yeah, wow.
So it didn't pan out then, is what I'm hearing. No. It didn't pan out.
Yeah, that was why I wrote it. Right.
To pick up chicks.
Yeah. That's why does anybody do anything? No, huge failure as such. No, it was a big success. I have a funny story, which is that, so we did it in May or whatever, right? And we filled up the room. We did really well. And the main criticism I heard from it was that I went too fast. My delivery was too fast. And I was really surprised. And I knew I had done this. I was really surprised because I'm a veteran. I've been doing this for a long time. And normally I have pretty good delivery, I think. But no, I got really nervy because it was different, because it was my show. Right? It was a very different experience. So I got really nervous and really anxious. And as a result, classic, I went too fast. I went way too fast. And then this time I was like, all right, I'm much more in control. I'm much more organized. But last time, 90% of the audience was probably like my personal friends, people who came out because Skyler had done something wacky. So I was like, okay, so we pretty well run down the friend stock at this point, right? So I'm going to estimate, in my heart of hearts, I really did think probably between 10 and 20 people would come out for it. And then I got there right at 6. The show was at 7. I got there right at 6, because again, I was much more organized this time. And there was like nobody there. I went, okay, this is fine. 10 and 20, it'll be a more intimate thing. Maybe that'll be better. It'll help with the opening the floor sections, the interaction sections, if it's just us or whatever. And again, I'm such a veteran, I should have known that if your show is at 7, nobody gets there at 6 unless they're grandparents or whatever. So all of a sudden at 6:50, a ton of people turned up. And I really did get psyched out again. I really did get nervy. And JJ Hernandez saw me get nervy and went, oh shit, Skyler's nervous. And I did. I went too fast again.
No, I talked to you at that point, and as I was sitting down, I was like, wow, he's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
He's going to have trouble slowing down.
I got scared. I legitimately got scared, and I went too fast. But I did, like a quarter of the way into it, I a great feat of mental strength. I did slow myself down. So last time it was 100% too fast, and this time it was like 25% too fast. So that's progress.
Yeah, I was sitting next to Barb, one of our, Barb Roberts.
Yeah.
One of our local costumers, and she leaned over and said, he's going too fast. Somebody should tell him that.
The ladies didn't like it. I was going too fast. That'll show me for trying to do something. No, it was it was pretty successful. I was pretty pleased with it.
It was very successful.
Yeah. And the new material, I revised it. I added in new stuff. I took out some old stuff. And I think the new material is pretty good. I think it was well received. So, no, I'm pleased with it. I'm just... This is just how it is.
So just for the people that weren't there, we can give a little setup. This was done in the Bushel and Bee, and it's done as a presentation. Yeah. And so you got a podium, worked with Jill Sheets at Music Theater to get a podium.
Wonderful podium. I loved it.
And then you had a projector and a screen.
Yes.
And so there was a lot of pictures of pop culture references and things from human culture.
Yeah. Again, it's a brief introduction to like humanity, right? And it's one half bizarre and overdeveloped jokes about like human history and conspiracy theories, and then one half pop culture references, because that's what I get a kick out of. And yeah, I think the crowd liked it. I seem to get good response.
Yeah.
So
now, you were able to, as aliens, kind of look in on human culture, and with the God's eye view, knowing here's what they got right and here's what they got wrong. And of course, it doesn't need to be how we would consider correct because they're on the outside.
Yeah.
They know, what exists and what doesn't.
Yeah. They're coming at it from a different angle.
That's right.
Right. So I had in 2019, JJ Hernandez put together a small group to do the complete works of William Shakespeare, which is, if you don't know it, it's a pretty funny show. It's from the 90s. It's a 3-person group that does all of the works of William Shakespeare in 2 hours.
Did you guys perform that?
We did at the Bushel and Bee in 2019.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in late summer, early fall. And it did pretty well. We made money. We're all pretty pleased with it. And so we went, we're going to do this again. Yeah. But I'll write the show, right? So I wrote a show in early 2020 when we all thought the world was ending, right? And I think this was a pretty general experience. My experience was that I spent like 2 weeks being really like numb because like, humanity's ending, right? And then it turned out that wasn't the case. And then I had like a really productive like 2 months, before like I started to fall apart again, which again I think was a pretty common experience. But in that 2 months, I got a huge amount done, like around the house or whatever. And I wrote the show, and then we had a staged reading of it, outside because, COVID, summer 2020. And the staged reading went really poorly. Everybody just hated it.
How many people did you have for the stage reading?
5 people. It was a much larger cast originally.
Oh.
Much larger means 2 more, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's 3 people. It went really, really badly. Everybody just hated it. So I put it away. And then in 2024, summer 2024, I had some huge reversals, personal reversals, very common through line in my life. And I was like, what have I got? What do I have? What do I have to fall back on? And the script was there. And I went, I really don't think this was as bad as I was told it was. I think I could fix this. And so that's it. We revised it pretty significantly, and then we put it on at the Bushel and Bee in like May. Then we did it again just now. And maybe it'll be in Wenatchee soon.
I'm hoping we can see it another time.
Yeah. I have to think this is possible because so cheap to put on.
Yeah.
Right. I think I have a pretty compelling business case, but I gotta talk to people and figure it out.
Yeah. We were even talking about putting it on at the Ruby Theater.
The beautiful Ruby Theater, historic Ruby Theater in Chelan, Washington.
I don't know how we would get people up there, but it would look so good on that stage.
It's perfect. It would be perfect, you know.
Yes.
It's such a classy setting. It'd be wonderful for it.
And so we're looking at doing this again. Do you have an add-on? Do you think that you're going to be editing and making changes to it when we see it again?
Yes. I think I'm going to add another section, and it's very controversial. Everybody has strong feelings about what the new section should be about. Whether it should be about professional wrestling, whether it should be about ska music. There's a lot of ideas that are circulating, and I will sift through them over the next 3 months here, and we'll figure it out.
So you have a show that is very rewatchable.
It's very modular,
yeah.
Right? You can add stuff in and take stuff out as you like.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the nice features of it.
And big thanks go out to Bushel and Bee for supporting new playwrights, local theater, and really just ideas that need to be incubated.
Yeah, the owner, Kayla, is great about, if you have an idea, you can use the place for free. It doesn't have like a stage or anything. It's just kind of like a space. But she understands that like this drives business. She won't give you like a Friday or a Saturday, like a prime day. Mm-hmm. But if you want to do a day of the week thing, you talk to her and you can almost certainly put it together. So that's great.
I think we could see on this one that on a Thursday up in Leavenworth, there's not a lot of people.
No. When we got there at 6, again, there were like 5 people in the bar.
Now, I was there, but I was on the outside because I had gone up with my daughter Kaya because it was her last day before we took her to college the next day on Friday morning. So we were there, and I was like, okay, we'll have a big send-off. We'll go see a show. And then she couldn't get in because she's only 20 and a half years old.
Oh, yeah. No, it is, because I know a decent number of people who are under 21, but the Bushel and Bee is a real bar. It's not a restaurant, right?
Yes.
So it is 21 plus.
Yeah.
So Rowan Kapler couldn't come to see it.
Yeah. Even so we were there at 6 o'clock because I was like, I'm going to get a seat and maybe we can get some food. But no, so we went down to Andreas Keller and got some Spätzle and
noise.
Yeah. No, it was good stuff. Lots of carbs.
Yeah,
lots
heavy.
of carbs.
Peasant food. Heavy.
Yeah, it was quite good. Mm-hmm. Okay, so fantastic show. That was opening night for last week. Mm-hmm. We've got some shows coming up. You were mentioned, J.J. Hernandez was in the show with you. He was one of the hecklers along with John Gwynn. Mm-hmm. And J.J. is kind of coordinating the Third Job Theater.
Yes.
And he's got another show coming up, and we have auditions coming up for a Christmas show.
Yeah, so one of JJ's friends from college, I don't know the guy, but they're going to put together Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, which has it's a movie from like the late 50s, and it's extremely hokey, about Martians kidnapping Santa Claus, and then the Martians learn a lesson about friendship, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And it's like a famous cornball movie from back in the day.
Well, it's because it's so bad. It's almost an Ed Wood level of bad film. It's just put together poorly. Yeah. The green makeup on the aliens.
It's really shabby. Yeah. And it's all just like, men really over earnestly saying into the camera, I hate presents. I will never let Santa Claus make children happy. It's really, so it's humorous, it's satirical. And J.J. Hernandez has a post up on the Facebook group Casting Wenatchee about it, but they are going to have auditions on October 3rd and 4th, and it's going to be at the Icicle Creek Center for the Arts in early December.
Yes.
So, and it's not a musical, it is a straight play. Quote, straight, unquote. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, I'm going to go out for it. If you're interested in that kind of thing, I'd encourage you to take a look, and they'll send you the script if you want to look at it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I think that one is our last Christmas show that's being cast right now.
Yeah, everything else is settled.
Everything is settled.
Yeah.
We've got the Christmas Carol, which will be at Music Theater in December, and that one's been cast. It's in rehearsals right now. We have the Old Time Christmas Radio Show, which I will be in, and that one is a musical, and we're doing a Christmas story. I am Drunk Santa.
Nice.
That is my role.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
That is it. Yeah. You'll shoot your eye out, ho, ho, ho. Mm-hmm. So that's, it's a musical. I've got a song.
Nice.
Drunk Santa has a song, and I've got a couple elves that will help me sing it. I think it's Michael and Marissa are my elves that will help me sing the song.
You know, I decided to pass on that audition just because December's a very busy month. It's a tough month. And then I saw the cast list and I was like, oh, son of a bitch. It's all fun people.
Yes.
You know, this would have been a good experience. I'm sure you guys will have a good experience.
Well, and it's nice because with the Old Time Radio Show, there is no costumes. There's no memorization. We can read the script.
Yeah.
And it's they're cutting it down so that it makes a lot more sense on the radio because you're not going to have big dance breaks on the Old Time Radio Show.
I would have loved to have seen Drunk Santa and the elves do the dance sequence.
I think we can do it.
Yeah.
So for a radio show, they've got a Foley table. James Wallace is running.
Yeah.
It runs the Foley table for it. And so it would be really easy to have two people with tap shoes on their hands.
Classic.
Doing the tap number.
Classic.
And then you have the elves behind a table tap dancing where you can't see their feet.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
The classic Hollywood thing where you see the actress and then it cuts to her feet, and then it cuts to the actress, then it cuts to her feet.
We could totally do it.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to throw that. I'm not the director on that one.
Okay.
I'm just Drunk Santa. So that's what we can do.
All right. Throw your weight around, Drunk Santa.
I will throw my weight around.
Yeah.
So we've got that, our third holiday show, and then we've got Holiday Spice, which is a variety show. And I'm going to be emceeing that with me and Danny are going to be, we've done this a few times where we just kind of fill in between the acts so that they can get things on and off stage.
Yeah.
So we'll try to, I think we're doing also some type of a Christmas Carol type bit.
Okay.
Where I will be Scrooge and she will be the ghost of Christmas something. And we'll keep coming back with different ghosts every time.
Oh, that's a good bit.
I think it's a good bit.
You get some mileage out of that.
I think we're going to see how it works.
Yeah.
And so that's our fourth Christmas show. And we'll probably be working on that in our other holiday adventure at Oktoberfest.
Yes. Yes.
So you and I are going to be returning as Oktoberfest MCs.
Yes.
Introducing the bands at the fest hall and running the contests and the feats of strength that happen at Oktoberfest.
Yeah, huge hit, the Stein holding.
The Stein holding competitions.
Very passionate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this, in the past, we have just had people raise their hands if they want to be in the Stein holding competition, which at some point during Oktoberfest, everyone gets a little inebriated.
Yeah.
And it almost comes to blows when we have to select people and not select people to be in the competition.
I remember that was one of my jobs last year, and I actually genuinely did get sometimes overstimulated by it.
Yes.
That the number of people that are like thrusting themselves onto the floor, you know, to be like, you have to pick me, you have to pick me. And I don't know. So yeah, so apparently it's going to be in more orderly.
I think there's going to be a QR code and you have to sign up and we will call out names.
Yeah.
That this person come up, is this person here, is this person here. And then for the late night Saturday ones where people are celebrating the hardest, that will be a championship. So the only people that will be doing that are people who've already won.
The real professionals.
The real professionals, which as we found out last year, there are people that come from other Oktoberfests to compete in the Stein holding competition.
That I remember it was like the first Saturday last year. We had like the most Celtic son of a bitch you've ever seen. And he was like 6'5". And we all went, oh God, just like when we saw him. And then he signed up for the Stein holding.
Yes.
And he was like a professional Stein holder from like Indiana.
And
he was like working the circuit.
There are rules. There's the U.S. National Stein holding competition.
Yeah.
And so
how many ounces?
Yes, there are rules for it on how you have to do it. And I wasn't familiar with it. I just thought it was a lark. But we became much more professional about it after reading the rules.
Yeah, no, it's fun to, like, you're ignorant of something or you're not aware of it. And then you stumble upon this crazy subculture that's like fully developed and organized.
For Stein
oh
holding.
my gosh. Yeah.
So we will be up there and October 3rd and 4th, Oktoberfest starts. And Skyler and I are there for the duration. And we will be there with Danny Schaefer-Cloak, and Jamie Howell, and Jim Gamble will all be working to announce the events going on at Oktoberfest.
And we all have new Trockton. So
Yes.
look forward to that. We're going
Yes.
to be styling this year.
Yes.
Yes.
I know Skyler was wearing Trockton for his show.
It was a terrible choice. It was boiled wool, and it was inside with like 60 people in there. So
Yes.
I was just dying. In combination with like the nerves,
That's right. The anxiety and the people.
I know what I'll wear to my show. Boiled wool. No, it looks very good. I'm very pleased with the jacket. It just was a bad choice.
And for everybody who doesn't understand Trockton, that is basically all of the clothing and accoutrement that you would be wearing for Oktoberfest.
Yeah. If you've seen like a movie where they make fun of that stuff, like European Vacation or
Yes.
whatever, right? That's the jokey Bavarian ethnic dress.
It's the lederhosen and the dirndls and the jackets and
the
socks.
hats.
Yeah, that's the Trockton.
Yeah.
So anyhow,
Yeah.
So we'll be up there for Oktoberfest. Did want to discuss this last weekend. I was able to go see Some Like It Hot after your show. I saw Some Like It Hot on Friday night
In Seattle.
In Seattle, and it was a show that you had seen in
2023, early 23.
which that was when it was brand new on Broadway.
Yeah, it was the original cast for whatever that's worth, but it was Christian Boyle.
Yeah.
I remember I had told my girlfriend at the time, she asked me what I wanted to see on Broadway, and I said, Christian Boyle's in a show right now, right? And we did it. We went to see, and I finally saw the guy we've heard on YouTube a million times over,
Yes.
right? Originated like every Broadway villain role in like the last 20 years, right? And I saw Christian Boyle in person. He was on a stage.
That's right.
Amazing.
No, I love that guy. I've seen him a couple times, and he was also married to Sutton Foster,
Yeah.
who is
they
a
were-
Broadway crush of mine.
They were the Broadway power couple.
That's right.
Until they weren't.
Until that damn Hugh Jackman. There's people in between. But we won't go into Broadway gossip at this point.
We're restricting the limit of the podcast to.
That's right.
Well, I guess not Chelan County, because you're talking about King County here.
That's right.
Okay, so we're restricting it to Washington.
We will restrict it to Washington. We are probably not going to have opening nightclubs, or we won't be attending opening nightclubs in most places outside of Central Washington.
No, not generally.
And Some Like It Hot was based on a movie from the late 50s directed by Billy Wilder. And AFI lists it as one of the top 10 comedies of all time, one of the funniest films ever made.
Wonderful film.
It was a wonderful film. And the film had Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon, and Marilyn Monroe playing really the leads in this show.
That's who you think of.
That's who you think of. And it's we wanted to discuss it here with Skyler and myself because the whole thing behind it is it's funny because it's two guys in dresses through most of the film.
That's the bit. The girls think they're girls, but they're not.
So
that's the joke.
So the setup for the whole thing is that they are a sax player and a stand-up bass player, and they're at a nightclub and they witness a gangland murder. And so they're on the lam and they're trying to get out of the club, and they come up with the idea, we'll dress up like girls and we'll join the all-girls band who are on their way to California.
Yeah, they're going on a tour.
They're going on a tour to California. And so what do you know? It works. And so they buy the fact that these two people they've never seen before happen to play the instruments that they need. And so they're on their way to California, and they're learning all of the songs along the way. And they find out that the lead singer of this band is Sugar Kane, spelled with a K. And in the movie, of course, it's played by Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
And what happens as they're going through it is Marilyn Monroe and Tony Curtis kind of build something up. And at some point...
Well, they're competing for her, but he wins.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jack Lemmon, of course, is...
They're sabotaging each other, and that's a lot of the comedy.
Yes. Yeah. Jack Lemmon, of course, is the comedy lead, and Tony Curtis is the romantic lead. So we all kind of know that Tony Curtis is probably going to end up with Sugar Cane.
Yeah, we know what's up.
Yes. And so, of course, at some point he has to say that he's not Josephine, he's actually Joe. And Marilyn Monroe, of course, doesn't like it and then does. So they end
Classic.
they end up together.
Women are so forgiving in film.
That's right.
Yeah.
More so than in real life.
That's been my experience.
And then Jack Lemmon, of course, he has to end up with a partner. And Osgood Fielding, who is in the movie kind of a nearsighted millionaire, falls in love with Jack Lemmon's version of Daphne and is head over heels in love with Daphne and is giving Daphne expensive gifts and trying to get Daphne to come back to his yacht. And at the end, they have what is one of the funniest lines in film history, where they're going away on his boat and Jack Lemmon is escaping the gangsters with Osgood. And Osgood is happy as a clam because he's going to marry Daphne. And Jack Lemmon has to say, nope, you can't marry me. You don't understand. I have a very horrible past. I smoke and I drink. And he says, oh, I don't care. He says, Osgood, you know I can't have children. Osgood said, that's okay. We'll adopt. And then at some point, he pulls off his wig and says, Osgood, I'm a man. And Osgood, without even looking at him, says, nobody's perfect. And then they roll credit.
It's a wonderful bit. And it's one of like the load-bearing pillars of Looney Tunes, that as soon as a man puts on a wig, he's irresistible.
That's
right.
true.
He's like the hottest thing on the planet Earth, which also has not been my experience. Speaking of, but it's so consistent. Right.
And it's funny because both of us have been in roles where we've been playing men in dresses.
Yes.
Sometimes playing a man in a dress and sometimes playing a woman being played by a man.
Yes.
Which has gone back. We've talked before about how Shakespeare, it was always done with men and men in dresses. And it's generally played anymore for comedy.
Yeah.
You'll see it in Bugs Bunny would do it. Milton Berle did it on TV. And we've had whole...
Monty Python
did it.
Kids in the Hall.
Yes.
They didn't even have a woman.
No. And Tom Hanks got to start on Bosom Buddies. Mm-hmm. It was a TV show, and that was the whole bit, is two guys in dresses.
Yeah.
That they would do it.
That's the joke.
That is the joke. I loved the film. And then I also directed an earlier version of the musical, where in 1972 they came out with a musical called Sugar, which was based very tightly on Some Like It Hot. But for some reason, the Billy Wilder estate would not give them the title of Some Like It Hot, so they called it Sugar. And I directed this up at Leavenworth Summer Theater, and it was a lot of fun, but it was exactly the movie. We did it all the way through.
Yeah.
David Harville played Joe.
Oh, yeah?
And so I know that for auditions for that one, once we got down to callbacks, I had all of the guys go out and come back in a dress. And just so we could see, we've got to see a couple guys together, and how do you look in a dress and a wig?
That's relevant.
I don't think I've ever done that in callbacks before, but it was a lot of fun.
Have costume pieces. That is unusual.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that was Sugar, and so when they redid it, they really did modernize it.
Yes.
And so there was a lot of stuff. So in this one, and I think when I saw it at the Paramount, I think when you saw it as well, that Jerry/Daphne is played by a black man.
Yes.
And Sweet Sue is a black woman, and Sugar was also a black woman.
Yes.
So it was an interracial cast, and so they included a lot of stuff about how you can be a black performer in 1930s America. And of course, when Billy Wilder directed this, everybody's white. Yeah. I mean, that's just how things happened in Hollywood in the 50s. And so they did modernize it to make it a lot more inclusive. And also, they were able to change that Jerry as Daphne. And they didn't really talk about it before he got into a dress. But once he got into a dress, he was very comfortable wearing a dress.
Something changes.
Something changed.
Yeah, something activates.
Something activates for Jerry/Daphne. And by the end, he decides he wants to be Daphne.
Yeah, there's a whole song in Act 2 where the rich guy character is singing about it.
Yes.
He sings about a metaphor. He sings about a butterfly. Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. And in this one, Osgood, rather than being kind of the nearsighted millionaire, he kind of felt a little Mr. Magooey in the movie. But in this one, he seems to see what nobody else could see, that both of the women are actually guys.
Yeah.
He seems to know that.
Yeah.
And Daphne is, Jerry/Daphne is very clear that sometimes I'm going to be Daphne, sometimes I'm going to be Jerry. But Osgood professes his love to Daphne no matter who she is. And so they don't have the nobody's perfect because he loves her as a guy in a dress or whoever Daphne is. And so the line has to change. At the very end, he stops her and says, "You're perfect." That was the big change.
On Broadway, the Osgood character was played by this like little Spanish guy. He was like 5'3", and he had so much energy. And I remember like being like, "Wow, I got to channel that." He was just like a ball. He was great. Christian Boyle was like tired. He's been headlining roles for like 30 years. Give him a break, folks. And that was actually one of my primary criticisms of it, was that you did not believe the romance between the Christian Boyle character and
Sugar.
Yeah, they very clearly had zero interest in each other. And when you see a show, you never know like what's the origin. Like, did they not get along? Was it just a bad night? But I remember thinking, wow, I don't believe this for a second. But I love the little Spanish guy. He was wonderful. It's really fun.
Yeah, Osgood was really good at the Paramount. They did have, so the guy playing Joe, who Christian Boyle played Joe.
Yeah.
And so the Joe/Josephine character at the Paramount, the guy was an understudy.
Oh, interesting. Now performing tonight as
and that's what it was. In the program he was listed as ensemble and understudy Joe.
Exciting.
He was fantastic.
Oh, he was all pumped up.
He was all pumped up, and the energy was great.
Great.
No, I completely love that character. I think the tough one with the romance there is they're setting Joe up to be a complete womanizer.
Yeah.
And so all of the women are like, "Joe, you didn't call me. You left me stranded." Then Sugar, who's looking for a nice guy that's not a womanizer, kind of falls for him because he's pretending not to be a womanizer. As Josephine, he can be Sugar's best friend, and he knows everything about what Sugar wants in a guy. So it's then hard for, once it's revealed that he is actually a womanizer, for Sugar to get on board with that. So I think it is hard. That one's a hard one to build a relationship with. I will say and because I don't know these people, and they probably won't be listening to the podcast, but Sugar was pitchy.
Really?
There was problems with her vocals.
On Broadway, the Sugar was not super good. But again, you never know. Maybe it was that one night or whatever. But I remember thinking, wow, you're supposed to be like the best in the world here, huh? Yeah, she was only okay.
No, Sweet Sue was really good and could belt, but the Sugar Cane, and maybe is just written jazzier than I would like, but it felt really pitchy.
Interesting. Yeah.
No, I wasn't happy with that. What I was happy with is this is more tap dancing than any show I think I've ever seen.
It's a very dancey show.
Very dancey
Very
show.
dancey, yeah.
And the dancers, the ensemble was fantastic. They were great. They had 4 guys that were in bellhop costumes a lot, and they were synchronized, and all of their turns and everything was spot on. They were tossing bags around and hitting their marks, and it was awesome.
It makes you so sad.
Sad.
It makes you hurt in your heart that you will never achieve
never
such
be
heights.
that good.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. This is how it happens. We all live a specific life, right? But I always yearn so badly to have been, like a real dancer.
To be part of that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's passed me by. I think
Yeah.
yeah.
That ship has sailed.
I don't think I'm going to be a tap dancer on Broadway.
No.
They did have a number at the very end of the show where like all hell breaks loose and the gangsters are being chased by the feds, and everybody's chasing everybody else, and they wheel out 4 doors on casters.
It's like a Scooby-Doo sequence, the classic Scooby-Doo, in one door, out the other.
And it's a long sequence.
It is.
And everybody's trying to find everybody through the doors. And at one point, the doors are rotating with people on both sides of the doors. And it is so choreographed and synchronized. and the doors slamming. I'm pretty sure the door slamming noise came through from the sound system, not the stage.
You have to have the doors.
Yes.
You know, you have the slamming sound.
The slamming sound.
Yeah.
But honestly, as a director, I'm watching this and thinking, this would take weeks to choreograph and figure out everybody's motivation. And because everybody's chasing something and being chased by something, and they're changing costumes, and it's different people every time, and everybody's moving across the stage. It went on it was 5 minutes.
It was a long, I remember being shocked by how long the number was and how sophisticated the number was.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was one of, I think that's what I'll take away from it.
Yeah.
I don't know that any of the music was memorable for me.
I couldn't tell you the name of a single song from it.
Yeah. So the Mariposa song.
That's the Butterfly song.
That's the Butterfly song.
Yeah, I remember that. I just love that little guy so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to channel that. The next time I have a role like that.
Well, he was so positive.
He was always like dancing and grooving. I was like, I gotta work on that energy,
In theater or just in life?
Let's not talk about that. In theater. One step at a time, ABC, sequential thinking.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Some Like It Hot, both of us were able to see two versions of the show. And honestly, it was the biggest Broadway show I've seen in a long time. It was so big.
Yeah, it's fun to see a show like that, like a really technical show.
Yeah.
Okay,
so that's wrapping it up. I do want to go through the shows that we have coming up here in the future, just so that everybody knows. Our first big opening night coming up is going to be the Marvelous Wonderettes on October 16th. We've got an opening night for Maskers Theater. They're doing a Little Shop of Horrors. So if you're in that end of Central Washington, that might be your go-to for opening night.
That's in Soap Lake.
That's in Soap Lake at the Maskers Theater. But we will definitely be at the Marvelous Wonderettes supporting our friends who are directing and acting in that show. And we are going to try to get opening night club together.
Woo!
And we'll have some drinks, and we might even have some opening night club giveaways.
Ooh!
I'm just saying, we've got a few things planned, and we'll see if how it comes together.
Fun.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. After that, we've got the Radar Dames are going to be performing on the 18th of October. Kashmir High School is doing Midsummer Night's Dream on the 23rd. And on the 30th of October is the Rocky Horror Picture Show Shadowcast.
Yeah, so that's actually going to audition here on the 7th. So that's a lot of fun. I've never been in it, but I've been to it several times. I'm often in the fall show, so I haven't been available. But yeah, so they, if you haven't seen it, they play Rocky Horror, the classic film, right on this big screen at the PAC, and then they have a cast come out and do the songs and the dances and whatnot. And so it's pretty low impact. It's silly,
Yes.
So if you want to get your feet wet, toe wet, whatever. That's a good one. It's pretty, come as you are.
Quincy High School's Puffs is going to be opening up on November 7th. Eastmont High School's Too Many Detectives at the Murder Mansion will be opening up on the 13th. Pete Kapler's directing that one this year.
November 13th.
November 13th. I'm sorry. I'm moving through. And I think the same night in November 13th, Wenatchee High School's version of Little Shop of Horrors will be opening as well.
Popular show this season.
It's a popular show. And then, of course, we move into December, and we've got all of the holiday shows that we discussed earlier.
The surfeit of shows in December. Right. We just have to make it through this dry time.
And we will be having more interviews with local theater luminaries on this podcast to get us through, and also to give you an idea of who are the people that are really putting on these shows, who are the people that make sure that local theater, community theater can happen. Most everybody here is a volunteer, and we want everybody to know who they are because they're our friends, and we think they're awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. So that about wraps it up here for the Opening Night Club podcast. If you have something that you want us to talk about, drop us a note. Go ahead and subscribe, follow this one. Leave us a comment to let other people find this show. And as always, go out there and see another opening night.